Super Bowl is watching the Green Bay Packers get eliminated from the playoffs. Yes, it's pathetic, but Packers. I'm DeQwan Young, and today I bring to you the 15 greatest conference championship games in NFL history. Now, this weekend has held some of the most memorable moments from some of the most memorable playoff games in NFL history. Some teams lose in heartbreaking fashion, and others get completely hosed. Whatever the case may be, this weekend is everything that's exciting about NFL football, and it brings everybody one step closer to one of the most coveted prizes in sports. Number 15, the 1999 NFC Championship Game. This game featured a total of 5 lost turnovers, and on the first play of the game, Kurt Warner was intercepted. It was a defensive battle. It would be a 3-5 game at halftime and a 6-5 game all the way into the fourth quarter. Kurt Warner would find Ricky Proehl for a 30-yard touchdown and the go-ahead score. Trailing 11-6 in the final minutes and driving, an overturned Bert Emanuel reception would be the last glimmer of hope for the Bucs as they lost to the Rams. Number 14, the 1990 NFC Championship. Now, pulling off a three-peat is hard to do. In fact, no team in NFL history has ever won 3 Super Bowls back-to-back-to-back. 1990 was supposed to be the coronation for the San Francisco 49ers. What stood in their way? Lawrence Taylor and the New York Giants. New York held Joe Montana's offense to just 1 touchdown, and they even managed to knock him out of the game due to a devastating hit by Leonard Marshall. The 49ers still had a chance to win, but coughed it up when running back Roger Craig lost a fumble with less than 3 minutes remaining. New York drove down the field in the final minutes and kicked the game-winning field goal. Number 13, the Brandon Bostic game. Now, this game actually sucked for 3.5 quarters, and we all thought Green Bay would be headed back to another Super Bowl. But boy, were we wrong. A major momentum shift occurred, and a fake field goal pass from John Ryan would turn the tide. Seattle would then recover this infamous onside kick off of Packers tight end Brandon Bostic's hands. Seattle then scored again, adding a 2-point conversion to take the lead. Aaron Rodgers drove his team downfield in the final minute and 25 for a game-tying 48-yard field goal by Mason Crosby. In overtime, though, the Seahawks won the toss and scored on a game-winning 35-yard pass from Russell Wilson to Jermaine Kearse. Number 12, Harbaugh's Hail Mary. Before he was losing games at Michigan, Jim Harbaugh was a quarterback in the NFL. Now, late in the 1995 AFC Championship game, Jim Harbaugh found Floyd Turner for a 47-yard touchdown to take a 16-13 lead against the Pittsburgh Steelers. And with 3 minutes left, Neil O'Donnell hooked up with Ernie Mills to set up Van Morris's go-ahead score. Now, in today's NFL, that's an incomplete pass, but whatever, 90s football. With under 2 minutes remaining, Harbaugh drove the Colts into position for one last chance at Hail Mary, but it would fall incomplete. Number 11, no pass interference. Now, no game in recent memory is as triggering as this one is for Saints fans, except for that stinker against Brady. The overtime loss to the Vikings in 2019, the Beast Quake, that loss to the 49ers, and the Minneapolis Miracle. Man, it's been a lot of heartbreak in New Orleans during playoff time. Now, red zone possessions can be tricky, but they can get even trickier when a defender blasts your receiver before the ball even gets to him. The refs looked the other way, and the Saints settled for a field goal. LA would tie the game at 23, and in overtime, after a Drew Brees interception, Greg Zuerlein would boot a 57-yard game-winning field goal to complete the screw job. Number 10, Brett Favre's INT. Now, before we got all these quarterbacks with amazing arm strength and amazing accuracy, and even guys that can throw no-look passes, there were a few unwritten rules for that position. Don't throw back to the middle of the field, and don't throw across your body. In a back-and-forth game that saw 4 separate ties, 3 consecutive possessions that ended with turnovers, and a bounty or 2, Brett Favre would drive the Vikings downfield to try for a game-winning field goal against New Orleans. Favre scrambled out of the pocket and broke that quarterback rule. He threw a ball across the middle where he would find a wide-open Tracy Porter. After the interception, the game would go to overtime. The Saints would receive the ball and drive downfield to kick the game-winning field goal. Number 9, the Iceberg. Before the AFL-NFL merger, the championship games from each league determined the 2 teams who would square off in the Super Bowl. In a rematch of the previous season's championship game, the Green Bay Packers faced off against the Dallas Cowboys. Now, because the game was at Lambeau, it was cold. and I mean cold. With game temperatures at minus 15 degrees, this classic went down to the wire. Trailing 17-14 in the final minutes of the fourth quarter, Bart Starr led Green Bay to a game-winning score. A quarterback sneak with 16 seconds left and no timeouts remaining. I hate cold weather games. Number 8, the 1983 NFC Championship. It's a rare occasion where we talk about a Joe Montana game-winning drive that was unsuccessful. But that was the case in the 1983 NFC Championship, thanks to a little help from the refs. Washington built a 21-0 lead entering the fourth quarter, but the 49ers mounted a comeback. Now, what's my favorite word? Controversy. You got it, yeah. Now, a questionable pass interference call and a terrible defensive holding call put Washington in position to kick a game-winning field goal, winning 24-21. Number 7, the fumble. A year after losing the 1986 AFC Championship game, the Browns would return looking for revenge against the same Denver Broncos they lost to the previous year. After trailing 21-3, Bernie Kosar led a second-half comeback. Now, the Browns would tie the game at 31 points, but John Elway put the Broncos ahead with a touchdown. The Browns rallied for the equalizing touchdown in the final minutes. Down by 7 with 1:12 left, Ernest Biner, who was looking for his third touchdown on the day, was stripped by Denver's Jeremiah Castile and lost the ball near the goal line. The Browns lost 38-31. Number 6, the Richard Sherman game. Now, after being outscored 20-7 in the second half, the 49ers rallied for one last drive in the fourth quarter. From the Seahawks' 18-yard line on 4th and 2, Colin Kaepernick threw a fade to the end zone, looking for Michael Crabtree. The pass was then tipped by Richard Sherman and intercepted by Malcolm Smith. Now, after a botched handshake attempt, Richard Sherman called out Crabtree on national TV. Number 5, Favre's last pick. I hate cold weather games. Now, it wasn't quite the Ice Bowl, but it was the 5th coldest game in NFL history and the 2nd coldest game in Packers history. In spite of the sub-zero weather, Eli Manning and Plaxico Burress torched the Packers secondary, Al Harris in particular. Now, with 4 seconds remaining in regulation, Lawrence Tynes missed a game-winning field goal, and that meant free football. After winning the toss in overtime, Brett Favre's last pass as a Packer was intercepted by New York's Corey Webster. That would set up Lawrence Tynes' redemption kick to send the Giants to the Super Bowl. Number 4, the 1986 AFC Championship. Cleveland went 12-4 in the regular season, looking to win their very first Super Bowl. They hosted the John Elway-led Denver Broncos. Cleveland's defense had shut down Elway the entire game, allowing less than 180 yards passing and intercepting the Denver quarterback. With a little over 5 minutes remaining in the fourth quarter and starting at his own 2-yard line, John Elway would drive his team 98 yards, forcing overtime. The Broncos would kick a field goal to win the game. Number 3, the catch. The 49ers trailed 27-21 with less than 5 minutes remaining. Joe Montana would overcome 3 interceptions to lead San Francisco on an 83-yard drive, which culminated in the game-winning touchdown pass to Dwight Clark. Number 2, the 1998 NFC Championship. One of the greatest offenses ever assembled. Randall Cunningham had his best year as a quarterback. Robert Smith rushed for 1,000 yards. We also learned that Moss is boss. The rookie wide receiver paced his offense with his big plays and his ability to take the top off the defense. But the announcer's jinx struck as Pat Summerall blurted out, "Anderson hasn't missed in 2 years." And he missed it. In overtime, it would be Morton Anderson who would punch the Falcons' ticket to the Super Bowl. Number 1, the Brady Manning Bowl. In 17 matchups, Tom Brady and the New England Patriots beat the Colts 11 times. But this was earlier in their respective careers, when Peyton had yet to beat the Patriots. Peyton Manning and the Colts were trailing 21-3, so it looked like the same old, until Peyton rallied his team to tie the game at 31. After a Stephen Gostkowski field goal put the Patriots ahead by 3, a touchdown run by Joseph Adai, and a Marlon Jackson interception would lift the Colts past the Patriots 38-34. It was the first time Manning's Colts had beaten the Pats in 6 attempts. What conference championship game do you think should be number 1? Join us in the comment section below. Don't forget to like and subscribe to Qwality Sports.